George Banner here. Here we are with another live on an astrology update for August 28 until September 3. So this is a time where things finally take a turn, where you finally feel like all those bloopers, all those blockages, those accidents, those conflicts, those anxieties are drifting away. And you are about to leave a Mercury retrograde cycle. It was probably one of the most difficult cycles in many years, because we're moving out of this Mars-Jupiter conjunction with Mercury retrograde in Leo. We're moving out of something that it's just volatile. It's just marking instability. You know, you're just ready for the next hit. And you're like, come on, hit me! And of course it doesn't hit you. But then at the moment you relax, boom, you're getting hit again. Boom, you're getting hit again. It's like something tries to keep you awake. And that energy, that frustration, that infusion is coming to an end. And of course, when one cycle closes, another begins. Because now, as the moon is getting into Cancer, then the moon passes into Leo. The sun is now in Virgo with Venus opposing Neptune at exactly 28 to 29 degrees of Virgo to Pisces. And this Venus-Neptune opposition is going to be the beginning of the end of some of your relationships, some of your confusion, your uncertainty, your codependency, your enmeshment, where you have been giving your power away. Because we've always been giving our power away in one form or another. It's what we're used to. We seem to make our happiness dependent on another person, like they are going to have the potential to be fair for us if we invest into that. Not knowing where it's headed, the confusion is going to come to an end, but first the confusion has to begin. This is a time of re-evaluation, where your own self-esteem, your own self-worth has always been under attack. And now you see how this attack is working through your conditioning, through your body, through the culture you grew up in your relationships. And you can see very, very clearly how culture has indoctrinated you and conditioned us to behave in a conforming way, a pleasing way, an agreeable way. Like, yeah, it's not so bad, it's okay. We will let it slide for now. We can address it later, looking at the clock, waiting for the right time, waiting for the argument to not be so difficult because we don't want to lose what we have. It's the wounded feminine. When she's becoming possessive of the object that she's not sure if she can have or not, but it's almost like a bad addiction. It's almost like we want it, but it's bad for us, but we can heal it and then we can make it work. But is the other object, which is outside of our control, capable of healing? Is the object capable of being in our life, serving a higher function? And that is what we're trying to figure out at this time. The object could be outside of your relationship, could be your health, could be your diet, could be just trying to see, well, I don't know if this is going to work, but let me try it for now and then see later. And see later is going to be September 3. Because that is the moment when Lilith, Juno, the South Node, and Venus are in this ridiculous cluster, all aligning perfectly for the right moment. That when you are preparing yourself for that confrontation, you're preparing yourself for the inevitable end of something that you already see it coming. I mean, especially if you've been working on yourself a lot, if you've been following these videos, if you're following the astrology, you know this is the year of karma. I mean, are you surprised that there's another shit show cycle coming to an end? Of course not. Because chances are during this Mercury retrograde period, somebody has been reaching out to you, something has been coming back to you. Something from April, the previous retrograde, where it's finally being reserved. Could also be something else. For some people it could be new, but the new isn't really new. It's the new is actually the old, and that thing has never changed. That thing is still the same. It's stagnant. It's a swamp. And who got time for that, really? I mean, how many times have we been giving our power away, trying to make something work that is not really working for us? Why are we working for that? It's not working for us. Where is the reciprocation? Why are we putting up with it in the first place? Because the feminine wound is we don't really have the courage to receive. Because to receive, you must first give. You must be vulnerable. You must talk about the problem, the elephant in the room, the thing we're trying to avoid. And of course, there is some kind of a pattern of avoidance here when Venus is opposing Neptune in Virgo. We are still, the feminine has been very wounded recently, very weak. We've been very self-critical. Things have been breaking down. You know, technology is not working. Our possessions are breaking. Our relationships felt unstable for a long time, but now we see the culmination of how we are again. You know, like it's almost like some of you could have been feeling like you're in a loop. Like, why am I revisiting that? Oh, maybe it's revisiting me and I'm just being a passive bystander. I'm critically evaluating. I can see there's something wrong, but putting up with the dirt, right? Venus opposing Neptune, opposing the dirt, the garbage, the loser in front of your door, the bad investment, the bad business arrangement. Now it wants you to pay for it again. Are you ready to commit to that? Are you willing to put in the work on something that has never really tried to work with you? But we're not sure. We're entering another period of evaluation. And on September 3, what's going to happen exactly? Because, you know, when Black Moon Lilith is conjunction the South Node, well, we've been independent for a long time. We have already learned how to step in our power. But now it seems like there's a deepest, darkest secret that we've been holding back. We've been hiding behind our independence, behind our detachment. And now we see we're surrounded by the superficial, surrounded by something that is not really there for us. And we can't stay in the shadows for very long, as the South Node seeks to release Lilith, release her from her slumber, release her from that dark zone where she's just sitting and watching and waiting in purgatory, in exile. You know, the feminine wound again, where we fear abandonment in our relationship and we're not willing to let it go. So the relationship is in control of us. And we are the one who is being dominated once more by the patriarchal control system sending its minion, sending its agent of our own programming being triggered once more. So we can reevaluate and see how the program is pretty much still running. We thought we were past this, you know. We thought we already released everything we needed to release months ago, years ago. But clearly, we're not as advanced and as above it as we thought we would be. Once more, we are in a toxic entanglement. So that is really the nature of Lilith. It creates some kind of an enmeshment with an abuser or somebody who is not good for you. You know, Lilith says, I'm in the dirt. I am in the shadow of Eve. I am in the shadow of the masculine. Let you be the dictator. Let the rational mind try to control everything. My feelings, my emotions, who cares? That's what we've been used to. When the South Node is also in Libra. And Libra is the rational. Libra is the peace. Libra is the harmony. Keep the peace, it says. And keep the peace at the cost of the feminine. At the cost of the mother. How she has been abandoned. And she's calling us once more to come back to her. And that is really the nature of the transit. To come back to the mother. Come back to what has been neglected. What has been ignored. In the dark, our deepest, darkest secret. Oh no, we're so ashamed that we have these needs, these demands, which are not being fulfilled. We are starving for what is an absolute necessity. And the incompatibility will make itself known, as Lilith is also conjunction Juno, the asteroid of marriage. And Lilith says, you know, that marriage, that's really hindering my progress, hindering my ability to be honest about who I am. And only those who are honest to us shall be around us. So what about those people who are still in the dark, who are not watching these videos, who are not hip on their astrology, who are not hip on their work, who are not self-reflecting, and taking accountability for where they have gone wrong, to allow the external to punish them? What about those people, those conflict avoiders, those avoidants, those emotionally unavailable, those withdrawers, those losers? Well, they're going to meet their Lilith in another person. And they're going to be rejected once more, as they thought they could get away with it again. And of course they can't. And finally, whoever is stepping into their authenticity is reclaiming their power, reclaiming the feminine, putting her in your arms and saying, you know what, I'm taking this, and you don't get to hurt it anymore. You don't get to disrespect me. You don't get to punish me, to lock me in a box, to force me to hide. It's over. And so, that is September 3. And what about those who have been avoiding relationships altogether? Where they may feel a rough awakening, realizing, you know, a relationship is still something on their platter. They want it to work. But they've been building so much towards the independence, that independence is now putting them in a chokehold, where they have detached from everything. Let everything go. Let go of the peace. Let go of the people. And they are perpetuating a cycle of misery, which is the theme of the exile. And that is what we're trying to let go of. We're trying to get out of that box, really. So, in whatever way it will manifest for you, it depends, of course, on the natal placements. What house does Lilith sit in now in Libra at 5 degrees, moving into 7 degrees for September 3. 7 degrees is a particular one. Because, of course, number 7 is about the abundance, the prosperity. But where is it? It's locked. Locked away somewhere where we never expected it to be there. Because we were looking in the wrong places. Wasting our opportunities. Scavenging. Like scarcity less. Yes, at least I have this. Where the parasite mind is revealing itself. We have a transit leading us right back into that mind, that frame, that enmeshment, that I'm not in control here, I have to control you somehow, to keep you, to maintain you. What do I have to do to keep the peace? I will do it. The shadow persona of a diplomat. Or, if this is not the case, then simply we are meeting our own shadow, our own self-sabotage. And it's time to clear that up. and to step into the light. Step back into the spark, the inner compass. This transit is reminding us of the power of that Aries North Node. Because with Aries North Node, of course, it is still ongoing. It's going to last until February 2025. And this is one more activation. It's going to make a serious, a little bit of a twist in the story. Finally, the story is being rewritten. We're writing our own story now. We're finally reevaluating the fact that the only one who has been really stopping us from rewriting that story is ourselves. We are rewriting that story because we've been stuck for so long. Like, what are we still doing here? This is not making sense. This is overstayed its welcome. So wherever you have overstayed your welcome, well, if you're not getting out now, when are you gonna get out? Like, what are you waiting for? But that's exactly how you can feel, like you're still waiting for the right moment. Well, it's coming. Are you ready for it? Are you ready to receive? Are you ready to ask for what is your birthright, for what has been taken away from you? How the forces that be are trying to push you in a box, tell you, hey, you don't deserve us. Your reality, your feelings, your perception, this is just wrong. You need to listen to us, our authority, right? The patriarchal control system. Logic dictates. Libra South Node. The nature of Saturn. Of course, we have a year of Saturn. So what to expect? They want us to pay the consequences of listening to ourselves. That mother inside who has been silenced. She's been ridiculed. She's been prosecuted. There was an article recently I wrote about the hysteric female. The hysteric is the one who's fearful of prosecution. Like the witch trials, like burned at the stake. No, I don't want to be judged as difficult. I don't want to be uncooperative and unforgiving and selfish. I'm going to see from their perspective, right? That whole Gemini shadow dance at Jupiter Mars. Let's just try to blah, right? Blah. Let's just be in this mutable blah where everything goes. And no rules are set. Of course, this is where Uranus comes in. Because on the 28th, Uranus is going into retrograde station. When it goes into retrograde, Uranus says, I've been sitting in Algol, our deepest, darkest, most shameful, most ridiculed spot, trying to elevate that spot, trying to bring some freedom back into that part that is taboo, but we're not allowing ourselves to do. But I've been trying to break the rules, to go there, to forget the morals, forget the story, just go for it. And now that is going into retrograde. What does that mean? And now we're realizing, what? This everything goes mentality hasn't really been working as well as we thought it could. Maybe it's time for some ground rules. Maybe it's time to dictate how progress needs to happen on our terms. Because, of course, we have the independence, we have the freedom to choose, but how much have we allowed other forces to dictate our perception of reality? Like, no, this is not real. And now we're scavenging for facts to somehow validate our perspective. Because now we feel like the time is urgent now. The time is very urgent because with Mercury going direct, but its great uncle, the higher octave Uranus going retrograde, is like the changing of the guard. You know what? We've just been sitting here, just reacting to everything, just responding. I think it's time to actually take charge. I think it's time to actually decide what is going to happen next. Instead of just like, okay, oh no, okay, oh no, okay, oh no, okay, oh no. You know, like, this is just a very, like, what do you say, a slave mentality. And we're leaving behind a slave mentality here. And what else is going on? Well, we have, of course, the Sun in Virgo. We're very critical of communication right now. We're like, oh, really? Is this really how it is? You know what? I don't really give a shit. You know what? Whatever. The words don't matter. But actually, the words do finally matter, because Virgo is where we have work to do. You know, we're not just letting our compassion sabotage us anymore. And we're realizing that everything that we've been leaving unreserved, now finally we are fixing it, because fixing it, that's all we're interested in. We're not interested in feeling good. We're not, well, of course we want to feel good, right? But how do we actually get there? How do we get our mental health, which has been so under attack in the recent weeks, back into gear? Well, we need to let it all out, you know? We thought that Mars Jupiter should have done it. No. Here's another portrait. Here's the game again and again. Because that throat, that algal where Uranus is sitting, that throat is still full of mucus. Is still full of pus. And that pus is time to come out, you know, like retrograde, reevaluating. Oh, wait, there was some more pus here. I need to go back. Need to pick up the pus. And then, you know, Virgo Sun says, yeah, I think now I will get it out. Instead of just sitting there and and breathing in these poisonous fumes. Yeah, no, it's just, you know, what we're used to. Who cares? I don't want to be difficult. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Don't want to upset anybody. I will let those candles burn and allow myself to be poisoned. No. That comes to an end. And we're only at the beginning of this Virgo season. Who knows what's going to happen coming September? When Mars goes into Cancer, and when Mars goes into retrograde, oh my shit. You know, we're making one move forward and we're taking 10 steps backward. Like, wait a second. Have I been moving too quickly? Have I been rushing something? Is everything falling apart? What's going on? No, everything is not falling apart. You're finally seeing that, you know what? The foundation you stand on wasn't much of a foundation to begin with. And Mars is kind of like, I can see it so much, you know, when it goes into retrograde, like, wait a second, I lost some things in Gemini. There were still some words I was supposed to reveal, but I was scattered. I was allowing myself to be distracted, and I thought getting distracted was the way to go. Because guess what? This whole month was full of distractions. It's like one thing after another. What can you do but sit there? What can you do but be reactive? Well, so Mars is kind of like, it's like a wounded warrior. You know, it's getting into a very defensive position here. It's really, this is old news, you know. Mars has been from one detriment position into another, just non-stop this year. You know, I remember when it went into, it was in Aries, but when it was conjunction the North Node. Like, okay, I am ready to go, but wait a second, how do I actually go? Is this too much? Uh-oh, I don't know what I'm doing. That's how it started, you know. That was like April shit fest with Chiron and the sun there in Aries, oh my goodness. And then Mars went into Taurus. And in Taurus, you're like, just do your due diligence, just do your due diligence. And we are working on our foundation, our safety, just trying to get money into the pocket and just avoid the drama, don't get distracted. And then, when Mars actually turned into freaking that Algol Uranus shit show, seems like the stability was nowhere to be found. Instability was now the name of the game. And then Mars went into Gemini. And Mars met Jupiter. And Mercury entered the retrograde. And the whole shebang of a roller coaster was released. So now we're coming out of all of this. 3 months. Actually, more like 4 months. Of one shit show after the next. And now Mars is preparing itself for retrograde. Perhaps this is a time to see, maybe one final effort. One final effort of the program trying to reassert itself just before it falls apart. Just before it's smashed into pieces. When Mars goes into Cancer, we're going to be under attack all the way for the feminine. When Mars opposes Venus, it's a war zone on our feelings, our needs, our perception of reality, where we're like, wait a second. That feeling that I forgot to pick up, I think I'm going to pick it up again. I think I'm going to do something. I think I'm going to assert what has never been asserted in the first place. Never even been spoken. We've just been running around, just trying to get everything else in order, but that one thing we were supposed to fix, the program has been going for a very long time. So that's when the feminine is finally coming out of the box, So if you're feeling like you're in a loop, it's a final showdown. It's just like everything comes to an end. The only thing that's certain is change. And now, as Mercury turns direct, goes forward in Leo, we are thinking we just want to have a good time, not a long time. How can we make that happen? But that good time that we're trying to create around us, that's been the one thing that's been distracting us all along. And everything is really happening in its own time, Like if you ever felt like things were outside of your control, now more than ever. But everything is falling back into alignment. Everything is falling back into a cycle where things get stable. That's the one thing you can be sure of. It's just, the feminine has been so under attack. Once Venus goes into Libra in September, we just want to, we want to receive. We want to take that time out, that laziness we've been denied all along. Because, this whole year has just been a year of one thing after another. Endless. And how long has it been going? Really, I think it's been going since Saturn went direct in 2023. And that was almost exactly a year ago. Take a month or two. So that's how long we've really been in the cycle. And it's like you get used to it, you know. You watch it and you feel more and more and more and more detached. And before you know it, the universe says, haha, you think you can detach? Let me bring you something you're not going to be able to detach from. You actually have to do something about it. So that's basically been the theme of the recent times. Now, this is really your short but concise astrology update. If you'd like to get more updates like this in the future, please leave a like and subscribe. If you like this video, I would really appreciate comments if you want to boost the algorithm. If you like to book a reading with me one-on-one, you can message me any given time. You have the info in the description down below. That being said, thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.